Senator Bonny Khalwale, my good friend, the bullfighter,
proceed to make your remarks, Senator.
knows that I am well educated. When he calls me ignorant, Mr. Speaker, sir, I can't understand which standing order allows him to call me ignorant. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to conclude by saying that I'm also very sure that Senator Bonny Khalwale knows that the transport policy that the government may have does not allow wastage in the government for public resources. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Senator Aaron Cheriot.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am elated this afternoon listening to members debate the President's speech for the very first time, an opportunity to many of them critique, agree, disagree. Mr. Speaker, I want to begin by lauding the President on very serious departures from the past. For those that have been on the corridors of Parliament for quite a while, you would know that there are many things that have been the hallmarks of presidential speeches which did not feature or were not granted prominence, Mr. Speaker, on that particular day. And of particular note to me, Mr. Speaker, is a reference to the House of a Parliament as a gathering of duly elected representatives of the people, giving an account of what their government, under the leadership of President William Ruto, has been able to do to the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, you will note that in the past years we've always been treated to rants and chants of my government, my government, my government. It is a single act of patriotism when as a leader you appreciate and you know that the position of a president is a position of public trust, that has others considered you, that this is an opportunity through which you can lead and make the lives of the people that elected you better. Second and most important thing, Mr. Speaker, is to celebrate and appreciate the fact that in all the 102 paragraphs that form the part of this particular speech, the President is spot on 100%, Mr. Speaker. And he speaks and gives an account of policies, programs, legislative interventions, in terms of funding and other policies, Mr. Speaker, that have been undertaken in the last 20 months, Mr. Speaker, of trying to make the lives of Kenyan people better. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, this conversation cannot be complete and you cannot have a complete picture. And I know that while Mr. President tried to avoid delving into our past, we know for a fact, Mr. Speaker, that it is the past that informs us of the future. He did not tell the country that he found a tattered economy with only 90 million Kenya shillings in the accounts of Central Bank Kenya, that Kenya was like a baby that had scraped the jaws of a crocodile along River Tana, where Senator Mungatana comes from, Mr. Speaker. That this economy had been battered, had been mismanaged, and things were terribly bad. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I agree with those that have argued before, Mr. Speaker, that in the unfortunate event that this government had gone to the very hands that were managing it before September 2022, we would be worse than Ghana today, Mr. Speaker. We would have been auctioned, we would have been victims, Mr. Speaker.
What is the point of order, Senator Eddy? Senator Eddy, what is the point of order? Senator Eddy, proceed with the point of order, please.
Is Senator Eddy the Speaker?
Niko na wewe leo. Sitatoka hapo.
Use the next one. The next one is working.
Mr. Speaker, I rise under standing order number 101 and 105. Mr. Speaker, you have ruled when a member of the minority side was submitting on this speech, on the content of this speech, and restricted senators to the content of this speech. The majority leader is introducing things that the president did not talk about in this speech. Number one. Number two, on the statement of fact, Mr. Speaker, the majority leader is telling the country that when the president took over office, the national coffers had only 90 shillings. No, he said 90 million shillings. Okay? Mr. Speaker, can he substantiate that statement in the House and tell us a country that was running on 90 million with all the public service components of this country going to trillions of money, Mr. Speaker? Is he in order to cast aspersion on our whole country to having been that broke, where the president himself was a deputy president, flying with choppers, driving vehicles that cannot sustain themselves even for a month at 90 million, Mr. Speaker? Is he in order?
Majority Leader, you have made allegation to the extent that when His Excellency the President took over the running of the affairs of this country, at that time, the books of this country were reflecting 90 million at hand. You need to substantiate that. You may either do so right away, or you may do that tomorrow.
Mr. Speaker, I thought there is only one speaker in the House. I am struggling to get your instructions because there is a whole battalion of...
Senator Mogeni, if you proceed in the manner you're proceeding, you'll be watching the Majority Leader at the lounge. So